The disabled tyrant's beloved pet fish. Transmigration. Chapter 64. I thought about it. I also like you, and want to be together with you. But Your Highness, can you agree to a few of my requests? If you can agree, then we can try being together. Blushing, Liu said in a small voice. Although he had times of confusion and awkwardness, and also might get shy when facing the person that he liked, being straightforward was also a strong point of his. Actually, what prompted him was the unfortunate transformation skill duration. He only had 2 hours per day, so there's no time to mince words. If he wanted something, it was best to get straight to the point. Once they reach an agreement, then they could start dating seriously. Thinking about the care Jingwang had shown towards him, Liu inexplicably felt very confident and held up the word-filled paper high in the air, as if afraid Jingwang wouldn't be able to see it. He already changed and edited these 3 basic rules several times. Jingwang taught him how to write before. This time, Liu did his best to not write any character wrong. He also did his best to keep the paper clean and neat. Although it was only a list used to negotiate, he still wrote it earnestly and wholeheartedly. Meanwhile, just listening to Liu say that he liked him, already made Jingwang felt like he was bursting with joy. Although what Xiaoyu wanted to do wasn't what Jingwang was thinking, this wasn't important. Who cared about 3 rules, even if it were 30 rules or 300 rules, he would agree to them all. Jingwang reached out and first grabbed Liu's finger, which was accidentally smudged with ink. Rubbing it gently, he wiped the ink stains away. This small act made Liu feel an abrupt warmth in his heart. His finger, which had received such meticulous care, attempted to slightly tickle the center of Jingwang's palm. Liu gathered his courage and held Jingwang's hand, looking at him with a smile. Jingwang had also been confirming repeatedly that Xiaoyu wouldn't get angry and run away again. Although he could already sense it when they were in the carriage. It still didn't feel quite real. Was he also worrying about the future? Jingwang couldn't help but laugh. Patting Liu's hand, he finally accepted the piece of paper. The first line that entered his eyes was, "Don't keep Liu overnight." Jingwang. Jingwang rubbed the center of his brows. So, did this meant that Xiaoyu accepted him but still refused to absorb his essence? He was fine with it, but would this end up affecting Xiaoyu somehow? The cultivation novels always mentioned that Yao should be diligent with their cultivation. Xiaoyu right now, if he must speak honestly, was really fishing every 3 days and drying his net every 2 days. Liu was afraid that Jingwang might think he was being pretentious and hastily explained, "It's not that we can't do it, but we need to wait for a more appropriate time." Liu suddenly realized what kind of lascivious words he was saying and instantly covered his own mouth. Cheeks flushed red, Liu blinked his eyes and pretended to be dumb. Nevertheless, Jingwang immediately understood, so it's not a definite no. In any case, if I said no, it's a no. Liu shamelessly snatched back the paper. "If you won't agree, then it's better if we don't get together." Jingwang. Jingwang heard Liu sigh and felt his heart swept away. After recovering, he quickly snatched the paper back. Although being unable to have his essence absorbed was somewhat regrettable, if he didn't have Xiaoyu, that can't even be considered anyways. At a place where Jingwang couldn't see, Liu secretly made a victory sign with his hand. Everyone all said that acting spoiled in front of one's boyfriend was very useful, looked like it was true. Jingwang agreed to the first rule and continued to read down. The second rule was don't ask about Liu's whereabouts. Jingwang immediately understood this line. Xiaoyu seemed to only be able to maintain human form for 2 hours. He needed to explain his reasoning for disappearing every time. Every time Jingwang watched Xiaoyu search for all sorts of excuses, which sounded so fake they hurt. Jingwang didn't even have the heart to expose his lies. There's no need to ask. Xiao Yu probably didn't want to keep searching for excuses. It was probably too troublesome. Besides, perfect lies weren't easy to come up with. Jingwang nodded his head, which counted as agreeing to this rule as well. Then he looked at the last line, not allowed to get angry at Li Yu. Jingwang smiled. Xiao Yu was worrying too much. When had he gotten angry at Xiao Yu before? Jingwang agreed to everything. Li Yu said slyly, "There's one more thing. Your Highness said before that you didn't have any concubine. Please continue to keep it this way, all right?" In the original novel, Jingwang wasn't a fickle person. However, the plot of the original novel had been completely messed up by this point. Chuyan Yu had turned into a black lotus. Who knew if Jingwang would turn out to be a womanizer? Although it was unlikely, Li Yu didn't want any incidents to happen due to this point. Moreover, he had made up his mind already. If Jingwang turned up to be a pig, he would break up with him. However, he didn't specifically write this rule down because this was something Jingwang had said himself. After all, it was already carved on the Jing estate walls. Li Yu felt like there was no need to write it again and mess up the numbering of his 3 basic rules. Therefore, he was actually the one taking advantage of the situation again. Jingwang nodded his head without any hesitation. "Then please remember these rules well, Your Highness," Li Yu said with a grin, "until you can recite them from memory." Jingwang nodded once more. He gave the paper back to Li Yu, went to the table and pulled out paper and brush. Li Yu followed him over as well, rolled up his sleeve and automatically prepared the ink for him. Jingwang raised his head and glanced at Li Yu briefly. Considering Xiao Yu's reading comprehension with a smile, he wrote a simple poem. "Spending the night is all up to you. You can come and go as you please. I won't get angry with you. In this life, I will only love you." Li Yu was stupefied. He instantly put the ink stick aside. His Highness was really too good. Especially that last line. Since he remembered everything, then next should be kissing, hugging, and lifting up high, right? With an O. Li Yu pounced over. Surprised, Jingwang caught him. Full of tenderness, the two slowly pressed their lips together. Trying to use a lifetime of gentleness, as well as all of their passion, into this one kiss. Trying to press each other into their own body, bones and flesh. Jingwang felt something licking him quickly across the lips. Opening his eyes, he saw Xiao Yu currently smiling mischievously while also looking back at him. "Does it still hurt?" Li Yu touched his lips briefly. With the misunderstanding before, Li Yu once bit down on Jingwang's lip and broke skin. Now, he really wanted to make up for it. Actually that thing had a certain flavor. The little fish was curious and wanted to give it a try. Jingwang was already his boyfriend now. French kissing was very normal. Jingwang realized what he meant and excitedly picked Li Yu up. "Li Yu. What the fuck? I only want to French kiss." What are you trying to do?" Li Yu was scared out of his wits. He was afraid that Jingwang was already about to violate the rules they had just agreed upon. However, Jingwang only hugged him tightly for a while and then carefully carried him onto the table. Then, Jingwang leaned his face in and started kissing Li Yu again. "Li Yu." Li Yu excitedly returned the kiss. As they kissed, he suddenly discovered Jingwang was a lot taller than him. At first when they were kissing, he needed to raise his head up. It wasn't very comfortable. Now that he was placed on the table, they were on the same level and it was much more relaxing now. Jingwang was only trying to make him feel more comfortable. Li Yu was suddenly enlightened. Although this person couldn't speak, he could sometimes understand him. Though he had to guess constantly to do it and often would get it wrong. But despite the inconvenience, Jingwang's pampering towards him has never changed. Feeling both touched and warmed, Li Yu tightly hugged the other around the neck, pressing his lips delightedly against Jingwang. Very quickly, he succumbed to the tenderness. Like a koala, Li Yu lazily clung to Jingwang. Jingwang gave him a yellow-colored piece of cloth. Li Yu opened it for a look. This was the imperial edict written by the emperor telling Jingwang to take an assignment from the Ministry of Works. Li Yu was somewhat surprised. He remembered that this did occur in the original novel. However, it was later on in the story when Jingwang was vying against the sixth prince for the throne. He officially entered court politics by starting this job at the Ministry of Works. Right now though, the sixth prince was still recuperating from his injuries. According to Li Yu's observations, Jingwang seemed like he didn't have any plans to take over the throne at the moment. Li Yu realized this was probably only the emperor's one-sided concern towards Jingwang. The Jingwang in this world would probably not face too many disasters. Li Yu could also attempt to help him. This is a good thing. Congratulations, Your Highness. Li Yu said with a smile. At the same time, he didn't really understand why Jingwang wanted him to see the imperial edict. The not very happy Jingwang, who's being sent off to work just after getting together with Xiaoyu. But I won't be able to spend more time with you. Jingwang couldn't say this. Li Yu thought for a moment and pretty much understood his meaning. He said with a smile, since you have an assignment now, you have to do it well. I won't go anywhere and will stay in the estate to wait for you to come back. Once you receive your monthly salary, you can use it to buy me a present, all right. Li Yu was full of encouraging words, imagining himself as a little house boyfriend, whose job was to send his boyfriend off to work every day while providing cheer and moral support. Other than dating steadily, people had plenty of proper things to do, after all. Right now, Jingwang needed to work at the Ministry of Works. In the future, he needed to take over the throne. Once he became the emperor, he'd have to deal with the major political issues. Unlike him who other than doing missions was just being a pet fish and swimming around, he was extremely idle. Almost like he entered an early life of retirement. But he clearly was only 18 years old. Li Yu scratched his nose. Why didn't he do his best and show off his capability to work as well by making his boyfriend a packed lunch filled with love? With Xiaoyu's encouragement, Jingwang gathered his energy and started reporting on time to the Ministry of Works every day. The Ministry of Works was the last of the 6 ministries. They were mostly in charge of irrigation and civil construction. Taking in consideration that Jingwang couldn't speak, the task that the emperor gave Jingwang was to take charge of renovating Zongqi Palace, which had burned in the fire. Zongqi Palace had a blueprint in storage anyways. To rebuild it, one just needed to follow the blueprint, so it's really hard to make a mistake. Jingwang had the title of a Wang as well and capable of managing people well. Nevertheless, the emperor was still worried that Jingwang might mess up on his first job and be unable to handle it. Therefore, he found Jingwang a helper. The helper was the assistant minister from the Ministry of Works, Zheng Jing, who was a very capable person. He already received the emperor's order ahead of time and was ready to aid Jingwang anytime. With this kind of arrangement, the emperor was really making it easy for Jingwang. When Jingwang arrived at the Ministry of Works Bureau, he first put down the huge bundle that he was carrying by his side. Assistant Minister Zheng Jing came over with a smile to greet him respectfully. Zheng Jing had long heard of Jingwang's reputation and wanted to build a good connection with him. He curiously asked, "What is it that your highness bring?" Although Wang Shi often followed Jingwang, according to regulations, he couldn't enter the hall. Jingwang picked up a brush from the table and calmly wrote, "Lunch." Zheng Jing. Zheng Jing smiled politely. So, it was actually Jingwang's lunch. This bundle looked even bigger than a wash bin. What kind of lunch did it hold? However, seeing Jingwang's expressionless face, Zheng Jing knew that Jingwang's personality was distant and cold. He probably wouldn't like it if Zheng Jing continued asking. Therefore, although official Zheng was full of questions, he didn't ask any more. After Jingwang finished writing the word lunch, he paused. However, Zheng Jing didn't continue to ask. Jingwang was somewhat dissatisfied. Under the word lunch, he deliberately started another row and wrote in a slightly larger font, seriously taking note of every brush stroke, made by my boyfriend. Zheng Jing. Zheng Jing asked with difficulty, boyfriend. Jingwang nodded his head. This was a word from Xiaoyu's hometown that he had told Jingwang personally. Xiaoyu said that, for them to be together like this, in his place this was called dating, and that Xiaoyu was his boyfriend, just like how he was Xiaoyu's boyfriend. Jingwang liked this title. He wondered which immortal mountain the Carpio came from. Was Xiaoyu treating him like family now? Jingwang felt very warmed inside. Zheng Jing thought for quite a while but still didn't know what boyfriend meant. He could only ask Jingwang, "Can I ask your highness, what does boyfriend mean?" Jingwang narrowed his eyes at him. He couldn't let Zheng Jing know about the immortal mountain that the Carpio lived in, but Jingwang had another explanation. It was what Xiaoyu was anyway. Jingwang wrote, "The future princess consort." Zheng Jing's face color changed again and again. Jingwang had a princess consort? How come he never heard about this? Oh. So, it's the future princess consort. No matter what, this was easier to understand than boyfriend. How should he respond here? Zheng Jing stammered a reply, "Then I really have to congratulate you, your highness." Jingwang finally nodded his head in satisfaction. Zheng Jing secretly wiped off a handful of sweat. Then, he saw Jingwang pull out something from his spacious sleeve and put it on the table. This was a transparent crystal bottle. Inside, a silver and gold fish was currently swimming around happily. Zheng Jing. For a second, Zheng Jing thought he had made a mistake. Swallowing his saliva, he asked with uncertainty, "Did your highness bring a koi?" Jingwang proudly wrote, "My pet fish." Zheng Jing. Why would someone bring a fish to work? Zheng Jing can't understand it at all. When he saw Jingwang pull out a jade box that held fish food and started feeding the fish peach blossom cookies, Zheng Jing became completely speechless. At this time, Liu, who was eating the peach blossom cookies, was also raging internally. He really got tricked by the scoundrel. What, sending his boyfriend off to work? Why did this big scoundrel bring fish to work? Wasn't he supposed to be a good little house boyfriend who stayed at home and watched the house? Right now, it has become accompanying and dating Jingwang while in human form, as well as making packed lunch filled with love, as well as accompanying Jingwang to work while in fish form. But I wanted to live a pampered and spoiled life of retirement. End chapter. The disabled tyrant's beloved pet fish. Transmigration. Chapter 65. Renovating Zhonkui Palace wasn't urgent. Jingwang first got acquainted with the work regulations of the Ministry of Works with Zheng Jing's assistance. He also needed to consult the original blueprint of Zhonkui Palace, so Zheng Jing already ordered people to find it and bring it to Jingwang. Jingwang spread open the blueprint. Zheng Jing got ready to answer questions at any time. After all, Jingwang have never done this kind of work before. Back then, when Zheng Jing first entered the Ministry of Works, he was also completely blind, unable to understand anything. However, Jingwang didn't immediately ask anything. Instead, he gathered his concentration and looked at the blueprint. Occasionally, he'd even write some notes on the side. From where he was, Zheng Jing couldn't see clearly what Jingwang was writing. However, he noticed that just now when Jingwang opened the blueprint, the silver-colored koi inside the crystal bottle suddenly swam over and hovered closely to the side of the bottle that was next to Jingwang's elbow. Looking at it from afar, it almost looked like the fish was resting on Jingwang's hand. Zheng Jing had a misconception that this koi seemed to be looking at the blueprint together with Jingwang. Zheng Jing. Why would he think this? Could it be that the koi is a spirit? The little carp who was mistaken for a spirit, oh, here it comes, here it comes. Time to see the boyfriend's concentrated working face. Li Yu had seen Jing Wang write and draw before, but he has never seen Jing Wang handle any official business. Li Yu was also pretty curious as to what ancient blueprints looked like. Therefore, he kept moving closer. Jing Wang knew Xiao Yu was getting interested. Afraid that Xiao Yu might forget he was still in a bottle and accidentally break the bottle, Jing Wang nonchalantly moved the blueprint towards the fish's direction and then continued to think with furrowed brows. When the boyfriend got serious, he was really too handsome. Li Yu enjoyed the view of Jing Wang's handsome profile face for a while and gave him a flying smooch. Then he extended his fish head to look at the blueprint as well. Li Yu was a little hopeful. What if he had some special insight and could help Jing Wang? On the blueprint, there were numerous little houses drawn. Li Yu couldn't tell any difference between the houses. Under the houses there were also a lot of descriptions. As soon as Li Yu saw the words, which were even smaller than his fish eyes, he felt his head starting to hurt a bit. Looks like there's no what if. The blueprint recognized fish, but fish didn't recognize the blueprint at all. Li Yu sighed. Looks like there was nothing he could do here. Reaching a critical juncture in his thoughts, Jing Wang suddenly gained a certain understanding. Coming back from his thoughts, he saw fish leaning against the edge of the crystal bottle, also staring non-stop at the blueprint. Jing Wang, Xiao Yu actually liked looking at blueprints. The next second, the fish who liked to look at blueprints immediately slid back to the bottom of the bottle with a plop. Jing Wang. Jing Wang laughed quietly. Looks like it's not that Xiao Yu liked looking at blueprints. He was just sleeping again. Recalling how Xiao Yu got up very early this morning and specifically went to the kitchen to prepare food for him, Jing Wang felt warmed in his heart. Unable to help himself, he reached out and petted the fish. When he was in the Jing estate and reading books, he did this as well. Jing Wang didn't think much of it. The little fish blew a bubble. Even if it's asleep, its tail would float over and wrapped around his fingers perfunctorily. Jing Wang couldn't help but smile. Your Highness Jing Wang. Zheng Jing, who was working on the same room as Jing Wang, had been watching on the side for some time. He coughed awkwardly. Jing Wang raised his head and gave a questioning glance at Zheng Jing. Zheng Jing considered his words for a moment and lightly persuaded, Your Highness Jing Wang, while you're working, you shouldn't touch the fish. Jing Wang. Jing Wang shot Zheng Jing a cold glance. He was used to reading while noting down details that he needed to remember. When he encountered something he didn't understand, he didn't rush to ask Zheng Jing. He also remembered it. Because he couldn't speak, asking questions always used up time. To keep interrupting his thought process with questions would not end up well. Jing Wang instinctively looked through the entire blueprint first and gathered all of the questions he wanted to ask Zheng Jing. Meanwhile, Zheng Jing was occasionally paying attention to Jing Wang. He was somewhat surprised by Jing Wang's composure. Although he reminded Jing Wang out of professional responsibility to not touch fish, actually it was equivalent to showing a certain disrespect to Jing Wang. If Jing Wang chose to cause trouble for him, Zheng Jing would have no choice but to endure it. A prince was a master after all. He was only a subject. However, Zheng Jing didn't regret it. He was just this kind of person. Although he really wanted to build a good relationship with Jing Wang, if it involved work, he wouldn't even make exception for his own family. Zheng Jing was very much against Jing Wang touching fish while he's working. Other than helping Jing Wang, the emperor also gave him an extra task, which was to report Jing Wang's behavior during his time at the Ministry of Works. Zheng Jing was already making a mental draft and getting ready to ask the emperor for his forgiveness because Zheng Jing didn't think that Jing Wang was very suitable for this assignment. Because Jing Wang brought his pet fish to work, Zheng Jing already felt like Jing Wang didn't actually take this assignment seriously. Seeing Jing Wang touching the fish, Zheng Jing thought that this was a sign that Jing Wang was completely distracted. However, after Jing Wang finished looking at the blueprint and gave him a pile of notes, Zheng Jing looked at the densely packed annotations and felt very surprised. Not to mention, the things that Jing Wang recorded to ask him were also a lot of the crucial issues. Receiving all of these questions all at once, official Zheng started to sweat profusely all over again. Before he became sweaty because he couldn't understand what Jing Wang was thinking and got worried. Now, it was because he almost shamefully overwhelmed by Jing Wang's questions. Zheng Jing couldn't help but recall when the third prince came to do work at the Ministry of Works a few years ago. However, the third prince disdained the fact that the Ministry of Works spent all day doing constructions, which seemed unsophisticated and not good enough for him. The third prince was extremely unwilling to be here. It couldn't even say that he'd done any work when the most he did was come to the Ministry of Works and drink tea for a few days. The high official from the Ministry of Works wrote a report to the emperor, tactfully explaining that the third prince didn't suit this kind of work. The emperor ended up transferring the third prince elsewhere. In comparison, although Jing Wang's personality was eccentric and liked to touch his fish, just the fact that he could examine the blueprint seriously, already made him incomparable from the other princes. Zheng Jing revised his view of Jing Wang and decided against writing a report about how Jing Wang wasn't suitable. He felt even somewhat regrettable that Jing Wang couldn't talk. Jing Wang's attitude was the type of person who could work diligently. How unfortunate. If you have any more questions, Your Highness, please don't hesitate to ask me. If I can't answer them, you can also ask the minister. Zheng Jing said warmly. Jing Wang nodded. Since he was finished looking at the blueprint, that meant that he can touch fish now. Jing Wang regained some lost grounds. Under Zheng Jing's extremely complicated look, Jing Wang placed the fish inside the crystal bottle into a teacup that he brought and stroked the fish openly, right in front of Zheng Jing. Zheng Jing. When it was time for lunch, Jing Wang opened the massive bundle that carried his food. He pulled out a lunch box that was equally huge from inside. Inside the lunch box were only 3 big bowls. Jing Wang opened the covers to each bowl one by one. Zheng Jing, who was sitting not far from Jing Wang, saw with his sharp eyes. A bowl of soggy rice, a bowl of unidentifiable, jet black food and another bowl of what looked to be soft, limp cucumber salad. Zheng Jing asked with interest, "What kind of food did you bring, Your Highness?" After asking, Zheng Jing suddenly remembered. Who'd write words while eating? How can Jing Wang answer? That question was really a waste of time. Who knows, Jing Wang might even get offended. Unexpectedly, Jing Wang was in a pretty good mood. Not only did he not punish Zheng Jing, he even pulled out 2 pieces of paper from his sleeve and gave it to Zheng Jing casually. Zheng Jing. For Jing Wang to have written notes in preparation, did he foresee that Zheng Jing would ask this? There were 2 dishes, so there were 2 notes. Zheng Jing looked at each of the notes in his hands. What's written separately were minced pork and eggplants made by my boyfriend and cucumber salad made by my boyfriend. Zheng Jing. So, the indistinguishable dish was minced pork with eggplants. Are eggplants supposed to be black like charcoal? Zheng Jing didn't dare to comment on the future princess consort's culinary skills. However, not only did Jing Wang prepare written notes so he could introduce his boyfriend's culinary skills to people at any given time, he also completely ate all of the food in the 3 bowls without even a change his expression. Fed by a mouthful of dog food, Zheng Jing said in admiration, "Your Highness, you and the princess consort really must have a nice relationship." Placing his hand lightly on the crystal bottle and touching the little carp's slippery back, Jing Wang nodded his head slightly. Inside the crystal bottle, the fish, who had woken up from his nap, started to feel immeasurably pleased with himself. Oh, was I being praised? He had gotten up early to make both of the dishes. He even made the rice. Although for some unknown reason, the eggplants became black and the rice was a bit soggy, but the taste shouldn't be bad. And also the cucumber salad was something that Jingwang liked. Liu suddenly felt inspired to have a taste of his own food. Perhaps, he already made leaps of improvement. While Zheng Jing wasn't paying attention, Liu quietly swam to the opening of the crystal bottle. Jingwang's bowls were placed not far from the crystal bottle. Liu decided to steal a small piece of eggplant from Jingwang's bowl. It was a vegetable dish. Fish should be able to eat it. Jingwang had already tasted the eggplant before. Afraid that if fish ate it, he'd receive quite a blow, Jingwang rushed ahead of fish and shoved all of the eggplants inside the bowl into his mouth, eating it all in 2 to 3 bites. He also ate all of the cucumber salad and didn't even leave any grains of rice left over. Liu was extremely delighted. Sure enough, his culinary skills must have improved. Otherwise, why would Jingwang eat it this quickly and even scrambled to finish it before fish could have a taste? Liu started to consider trying even more recipes. He was a capable boyfriend. Although he couldn't help Jingwang read the blueprint, he could still help make food for Jingwang. Fish finally stopped trying to steal his food. Jingwang was completely unaware that Xiao Yu's demonic packed lunch had an upcoming sequel as he secretly let out a breath of relief. The news of the emperor giving Jingwang an assignment reached the third prince's ears. Mu Tianming was somewhat distressed. The reason was none other than the fact that Mu Tianming had entrusted some government official to beg mercy on his behalf in the hope that the emperor would entrust him with some assignment again, yet the emperor completely ignored him and instead, went to find Jingwang. What can a mute do? Was the emperor trying to tell him that he'd rather use a mute than him? No matter how dissatisfied Mu Tianming was, he didn't dare to act recklessly. The emperor clearly didn't feel happy with him right now. The sixth prince and his own injuries were all better. The emperor had released the sixth prince from his confinement but didn't release him. He still had to read and copy scripts every day. Mu Tianming burned internally with anxiety. If he keeps being confined like this, how was he supposed to placate those court officials who followed him? As he studied in the imperial studies, he can tell that the emperor already had intentions to groom the 2 young princes. Even the teacher that educated the little princes on their studies was changed to the emperor's own personal advisor. The emperor was so discriminatory, placing him behind the little princes, behind Jingwang. Mu Tianming couldn't help but complain to the sixth prince who came to visit him. Mu Tianxiao warmly reminded him, "Third elder brother, don't forget the lesson from last time. You should first keep a low profile. Imperial father was checking out your attitude. If you don't make any more mistakes, Imperial father definitely won't keep ignoring you for too long. Don't worry, you still have me by your side. I will keep watch for you." Mu Tianming's eyes lit up. The sixth prince's words made sense. Moreover, the sixth prince have followed him for many years. He should be trustworthy. Last time, he didn't listen to the sixth prince's words and ended up eating a huge loss. This made the third prince even more confident in the sixth prince now. Mu Tianming said urgently, "With you here, I can feel more at peace. I have a group of subordinates that I can give to you. You can take care of them for me right now." Mu Tianming pulled out a command sigil from his robes. Hesitating for a second, he handed it to the sixth prince. The sixth prince accepted it. Regardless of how much this was what he had wanted, the sixth prince did not show any complacent expression on his face and continued to thank the third prince politely, saying how extremely thankful he was that the third prince gave him such an opportunity and how he was going to work extremely hard in the future to repay him. The sixth prince put away the command sigil and walked out calmly in front of the third prince. Upon exiting the estate, Mu Tianxiao looked at the sky, feeling complete relief. He knew that the dark cloud that has been looming over his head this entire time was finally about to dissipate. As long as he can grasp all of the third prince's subordinates in his hands, soon he will no longer need to remain in hiding anymore. End chapter. The disabled tyrant's beloved pet fish. Transmigration. Chapter 66. Mu Tianxiao obtained Mu Tianming's command sigil, but he didn't actually do what the third prince had imagined, which was to rush about and socialized with others on his behalf. Instead, Mu Tianxiao did things for himself. After receiving the beating earlier, Mu Tianxiao's injuries have completely healed by now. Mu Tianxiao entered the imperial palace to meet with the emperor, showering the emperor with an outpouring of gratitude. Even though the emperor had punished him, he still gave thanks with a smile. The emperor saw the sixth prince. According to the imperial guard's investigations before, the sixth prince was only used by the third prince and was not the main culprit. Still, the emperor still felt somewhat annoyed towards Mu Tianxiao and treated him with a cold and distant attitude. Mu Tianxiao had always been transparent before the emperor. It's only recently, when he had started following the third prince around everywhere, that he managed to appear before the emperor more often. He has long been accustomed to the emperor's cold face and answered it respectfully. After giving thanks, Mu Tianxiao stated that he wanted to prepare some generous gifts for Jingwang. The reason was because of what happened with the fake monks. He felt very apologetic to Jingwang and wanted to give Jingwang gifts as compensation. Because the emperor knew what happened, Mu Tianxiao wanted to ask the emperor for his opinion and have the emperor look over the list of gifts first. Recalling that the second prince pretty much attempted the same thing before, the emperor looked at the sixth prince with an expression full of suspicion. Still, the emperor looked over the list of gifts. It was composed of some books, calligraphy, and paintings. All were works renowned. The emperor absent-mindedly remembered that the sixth prince's birth mother, concubine Zhang, was originally a palace maid that served Empress Xiaohui. After Empress Xiaohui passed away, concubine Zhang diligently guarded Changchun Palace. Because the emperor got drunk one day, concubine Zhang was fortunate enough to obtain an opportunity. With this single instance, concubine Zhang managed to become pregnant with the sixth prince. Her position of concubine was only given to her after the sixth prince became of age. Concubine Zhang had no family supporting her, making the sixth prince the poorest of all of the princes. Normally the gifts bestowed upon him were all what was routinely given during New Year. Only by following the third prince these last few years did his situation got a little better. The emperor couldn't put his current feelings into words, but at least he felt that the sixth prince put some thought into this list of gifts. Finally, he nodded his head and permitted the sixth prince to give these presents. If Jingwang doesn't want to see you, then don't disturb him. After thinking for a while, the emperor warned ahead. The main reason was that what the sixth prince did before was really too terrible. The emperor also didn't want to make Jingwang felt worse. Mu Tianxiao said with a smile, "Please rest assured, Imperial Father. I will just leave the gifts and go. I definitely won't make fifth brother unhappy." Mu Tianxiao asked to be excused. The moment he turned and exited the palace, the smile on his face completely froze into ice. Jing Estate. In the last few days, Li Yu always went to work with Jingwang during the day. At night, he still had to find time for a date. Although most of the time he was a fish could also become extremely tired. Logically speaking, this should already be that accomplishing that be sticky task, but the system task still didn't update. Li Yu felt like the shitty system was screwing him again. Clearly, he and Jingwang even French kissed already. Jingwang brought him to work every day and stroked him whenever there was free time. Didn't this count as attached at the hip? The system explained, the quest is judged according to the host and the tyrant's relationship. The host and the tyrant's relationship at the moment is not any deeper than during wind, flower, snow, and moon quest. Li Yu, he's already my boyfriend and brings fish to work every day. None of these counts as any deeper relationship. The system, this is the ancient era. The concept of boyfriends doesn't exist. Moreover, the tyrant brought his pet fish around all over the place previously as well. Therefore, it doesn't count. Li Yu. That sounds quite reasonable. He couldn't argue at all. Jingwang pampered fish a lot before. Did this cause the mission to have trouble advancing now? But if even being boyfriends didn't count, what was he supposed to do? Marry Jingwang. The system clearly stated, marriage is one way. Liu snorted. He knew that this shitty system would screw him again from the moment he resumed doing the missions. He really wanted to return to being human completely. If he didn't, he would have to constantly take the risk of being discovered by Jingwang. He wouldn't have made the 3 basic rules for Jingwang otherwise. He originally hoped that by dating Jingwang, the mission would complete itself naturally. But this shitty system refused to recognize being boyfriends as an advancement in their relationship. With the progress of the mission at a standstill, he's prevented from turning back to human permanently. If he couldn't return to being human permanently, he couldn't date properly. How was his relationship with Jingwang supposed to advance like this? In other words, the mission was an obstruction. Fish seemed to have gotten into a deadlock. Liu suddenly had an epiphany. He understood now. The system was covertly setting him up with Jingwang again here. But he hasn't thought that far yet. He and Jingwang have just started being like a normal couple, shyly holding each other's hands. Kissing was enough to make his face red. To suddenly have to get married, Liu had some trouble imagining it. He was willing to get together with Jingwang because he liked the other man, not because he was royalty or would definitely become the emperor in the future. Jingwang's current and future status indicated that his marriage definitely won't be anything careless or sloppily done. Liu had seen in the novel that after Jingwang took over the throne, he completely ignored all objections from the court officials and stubbornly insisted on making Xuěshān the empress. The imperial officials knelt all over the ground but no one could persuade him. In the end, Xuěshān appeared himself and expressed that he was willing to be a concubine for the rest of his life, never becoming the empress, which won him the favor of the court officials. Meanwhile, Jingwang also refused to crown an empress. Therefore, although Xuěshān was nominally a concubine, he actually still enjoyed the special privileges of an empress. However, Jingwang still needed an heir. Xuěshān even generously helped Jingwang accept concubines. In the original novel, Jingwang became extremely furious because of this, causing Xuěshān to feel very wronged. Before Liu had more or less felt that after the pampered concubine pretty much screwed Jingwang over for the rest of his life and that finally, he was willing to think for Jingwang's sake for once. However, now that Liu started dating Jingwang himself, he no longer thought that way. In the original novel, Xuěshān was unwilling to become the empress and even persuaded Jingwang to accept concubines. This could be called being magnanimous, but it could also be said that Xuěshān didn't actually care if Jingwang slept with other people. Or in other words, Xuěshān didn't love Jingwang the same way that Liu loved Jingwang. Meanwhile, Jingwang became angry perhaps because he also realized that inside Xuěshān's heart, he could never compare to the deceased sixth prince. Love was just like this. Whoever loved more would lose first. As a tyrant, Jingwang could kill anyone he wanted in the entire world but he couldn't kill Xuěshān to obtain his heart. At the end of the original novel, after many years had passed, Xuěshān finally started to feel something for Jingwang. In this manner, this masochistic romance finally ended with a hurried and absurd conclusion. Just thinking about this conclusion made Liu feel uncomfortable. He felt injustice for the Jingwang in the novel. After obtaining the throne, although the tyrant had the entire world, he still didn't have anyone who truly loved him. Even if the pampered concubine remained by his side, for a long time, Jingwang was still unable to reach the other's heart. As the high and mighty emperor, Jingwang was still very lonely the entire time. However, now in this world, Xuěshān and Jingwang were already impossible to get together. Although Liu felt bad for Jingwang, was it now his turn to face all of this? Would Jingwang also make him the princess consort and then after obtaining the throne, make him empress? Then he would be the fish princess consort? Fish empress? Liu When Li Yu heard the title Princess Consort before, he was already feeling awkward. The title of Empress was even bigger than Princess Consort. Who knows if this hat can even fit on his fish head? He was willing to help Jingwang fight for the throne, but it was completely different from him becoming a princess consort or the empress. Li Yu only needed to think about being dressed just like the imperial consort, staying by his lonesome in some palace somewhere and waiting for Jingwang to flip his name, and immediately, Li Yu would feel goosebumps all over. Forget it. It's best not to consider all of that right now. He just started dating Jingwang. Who knows what the future would bring? Right now, they were only dating, so it shouldn't be too complicated between the two of them for now. Such a major event like marriage will have to wait until both of them were capable of looking at this relationship maturely. It still needed much consideration. The only 18-year-old Li Yu thought wisely. However, in the end, Li Yu was still affected by the series of thoughts. When he transformed to meet Jingwang, his mood was still somewhat downcast. Jingwang always had keen senses. Immediately, he discovered that Xiao Yu's mood wasn't the usual high spirits. He actually looked forward to meeting with the human form Xiao Yu every single day. Recently, he's been busy with work during the day. Although Xiao Yu accompanied him all over, there were still outsiders present, so he couldn't be excessively intimate with him. It's not that Jingwang was afraid of Zheng Jing, but rather, he didn't want Zheng Jing to discover the Carpiao's identity. His true time to interact with Xiao Yu didn't start until after returning from the Ministry of Works. In these 2 hours, Jingwang didn't want Xiao Yu to feel any unhappiness. If there were any issue, he'd resolve it himself. What's the matter? Jingwang held Li Yu's hands gently, as if asking. Li Yu made a face. The original novel and the crowning the Empress were both not things he could talk about. However, Jingwang's careful and cautious expression made Li Yu experience how much the other treasured him. It looks like with Li Yu, Jingwang was also the first to love more. Li Yu recalled the like that was carved all over the estate's walls and started to feel bad for Jingwang again. No matter what happens in the future, I definitely won't let him feel lonely again, Li Yu secretly decided. Jingwang agreed to the 3 basic rules. Therefore, he wouldn't deliberately inquire about things that Li Yu chose not to talk about. Stepping forth to loop an arm around Li Yu, he let Xiao Yu lean against himself and slowly relax. Li Yu blinked a few times. These days he gradually figured out some tricks to interacting with Jingwang. For example, when Jingwang hugged him, he was normally asking for kisses. Jingwang really liked kissing him, meanwhile Li Yu liked waiting for Jingwang to kiss him and then give a response. He didn't know if all budding romances were this sticky and affectionate, but the both of them enjoyed it a lot. This time, Jingwang didn't kiss first. He lowered his head, pulled out a paper slip from his sleeve and gave it to Li Yu. Jingwang actually very rarely saved paper slips in order to communicate with others. Normally, he'd write on the spot. After getting together with Li Yu, Jingwang treasured every moment of the 2 hours they spent together every day. Therefore, he started to compromise in this manner in order to prevent their precious time from being wasted on writing things. If he wanted to say something, he'd write it down on his own and give it to Xiao Yu to see later. Li Yu accepted the paper slip and looked at it excitedly. The edges of this piece of paper had wear and tear already. What's written on it was like. It was Jingwang's handwriting. This wasn't the first time Li Yu was confessed to, but he still felt happy seeing it. Did Your Highness write this a long time ago? Why else would the edges be so worn out? And why hide it tucked away, only to pull it out specifically to make him happy? This person really treated him too painstakingly good. Jingwang nodded his head but didn't mention that this was something he wrote down before when Xiao Yu was angry and avoiding him. Originally, he wanted to find a suitable time to give it to Xiao Yu to see, but he couldn't at that time. Now it was finally an appropriate time. Because of Jingwang's coaxing, Li Yu's mood lifted a lot. Instead, he became rather curious. Jingwang's paper slips, other than the ones used to make him happy, and ones used to specifically show off in front of Zheng Jing, were there should definitely be others, right? Li Yu placed his hands on his hips like a bandit and smiled mischievously, Your Highness, do you have a lot of these kinds of paper slips hidden away? Jingwang. For once, Jingwang looked somewhat cautious. He glanced at Li Yu and then swiftly moved his gaze away. Li Yu, oh ho. This expression clearly meant I have a secret, come search quickly. Li Yu was very familiar with Jingwang and smiled naughtily. He extended his two arms, one on each side. Li Yu dove into the other's sleeves. Jingwang was pretty much indirectly hugged by him and didn't avoid him or move away. Li Yu suddenly recalled the bean he accidentally picked back then and thought, it's very fortunate that Jingwang didn't know he was fish. Meanwhile at Jingwang's end. Jingwang. Jingwang also thought about the bean that fish bit before and felt somewhat flustered. The two people each had their own thoughts. Eyes lighting up, Li Yu already pulled his hands out of the sleeves, holding a string of paper strips. He said in surprise, So Your Highness wrote this much? Jingwang looked at him with a tender expression. Li Yu randomly grabbed a piece. What's written on it was, the food tastes very good. Don't tire yourself too much. Li Yu. Li Yu thought carefully for a moment. This should be what Jingwang wanted to say when he gave Jingwang the packed lunch filled with love. However, because their interaction time was really too short, most of the time Jingwang wouldn't deliberately let Li Yu know what he was thinking and would record things afterwards. Li Yu felt extremely touched and read all of the paper slips left, which made him recall many little things that happened during their time together. So even though His Highness always seemed cold towards Li Yu, his heart had always been very warm. In the end, Li Yu saw a piece of paper. The edges were so worn that it can be described as shabby. Li Yu. Jingwang's expression instantly became extremely complicated. After a moment of deliberation, he reached a hand over to snatch it away. Li Yu instantly realized something wasn't right. The curious little fish of course chose to open it immediately for a look. The paper slip that he thought would have some kind of sappy romantic words but actually read, I want to absorb essence. End chapter.